evening, good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome on into the Dragon's Den. I hope everybody's doing well today. Let's see, who we got? We got Chewy. Hey, Chewy. Um, Thank you for following Masky Art. Welcome on in. Welcome on in. Rob C, welcome in. Good evening. I just followed you on Twitter. If you follow me back, that would be really appreciated. I can do that. Hey, Daisy, how are you? Welcome, welcome. Hey, Kenneth, how are you doing today? Hope you're doing well. Hope everybody's doing well. As you can see, there's something still on the bench. This is the Ace Pro, which is the Anycubic, well, let's just say, rendition of the AMS. And I'm going to say that because first to market, right? Something like an, four spool, respools, blah, 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 no need for a buffer. Then you have Creality come out with their CFS, which with the K2, which has now been backported to a couple of machines, and now you got the Reality High, or is that the, I don't know, somebody. Then you have the Ace Pro here that came out once again four. Um, the big difference is this actually has a dryer built in. So you've got a power cord and power switch for the printer, and then a power cord and power switch for the AMS, rather than everything being driven from the main unit. Hey, Eagle the Dragon, how are you doing? I hope you're doing well. I noticed that you weren't here on Tuesday. I hope you're doing well. I heard you had an event recently, so uh, we'll reach out after stream tonight and give you a call and chat, check up on you. Hey, Kenneth, how are you doing? Built Over Bot, welcome on in. You keep wanting to get something on fire. You keep waiting to see something set on fire here. This is not shenanigans. I do not intentionally start things on fire. No, but seriously, we have tried a couple of times. I did fry. We did pop a. Well, actually, I popped. It wasn't on stream. It would have been great if it was. But I did pop a SB2209 when I applied mains power to it, not once, but twice for good measure, thinking I must have did something wrong. Double checked all the wirings, flipped the switch again, and blew the ceramic fuse straight off the board. But I didn't do that on stream. That would have been a good clip though. You're fan freaking tastic. I'm not fan freaking tastic, but I'm okay. And I will say I'm better now because I've got hot coffee. It's starting to get a little cold up here. I will always get hot standing here streaming, even though I'm sitting right over there, like 3 feet away most of the day, and I'm cold and I have a hoodie on. Same environment, just get ready, set everything up for the stream, and then all of a sudden I start getting hot. And it probably has something to do with fresh hot coffee versus the coffee that was brewed at about 1:30, 2 o'clock. But that's been sitting here in the Yeti because Miss Dragon came home with lunch, which was Wingstop. So I had me some wings and fries for lunch and a cup of coffee. So that's been sitting here for. How about buying a Creality printer and rolling the dice? Hey, Bob. Reality. We've got a K1C here. In fact, if I can get hold of Creality to get one of the upgrade kits, I'll add a CFS to this just so we can continue and we can just have everything has something on it, because this is going to take the place of the LH Stinger up here. This is not going away. Well, it won't be on this shelf, but it's not like leaving the Dragon Den. But then we'll have our AMSs, our Ace Pro on the Anycubic. We'll have a Creality with their CFS. We'll have Vorons with box turtles, which These need to be upgraded still to the latest spec. That's why they're horizontal surfaces collecting things right now. But yeah, does the K1 take their AMS? So they have announced a retrofit kit for the K1 series. That's the K1, the K1 SE, the K1 Max, and the K1C. There is a retrofit that you can do. Now, here's the difference. This comes with a poop chute. The bamboos come with a poop chute. The Elugo Centauri, whatever the thing is that I just ordered, that'll be here sometime this summer. That has a poop chute. That the Elugo Centauri does not have a filament changing system being launched with it, but it's got a poop chute. And they've already teased when Zombie made a comment about it when it was finally released at $2.99. They made a comment that it's imminent or it's coming. So there's may not be there at launch, but it's probably not that far away. All that to say on the K1C or any of the K1, the K1C, the K1 Max, K1 SE, there's no poop chute, which means you're pooping off one of the back sides of the bed and it's dropping right down on your bottom deck. And I don't know about you, but if you do any type of a long print in these, it goes right down to the bottom. So if you've got a lot of stuff down here and you drive your bed down into it, you're going to bottom out your bed. So I don't know how that's going to work. So you may wind up losing some height in the process when you do I'm assuming you're going to have to do some type of firmware upgrade for that. So long story short, or long story long actually, I have been printing with this some. I have printed some things for this. Once again, this is the Anycubic Kobra S1. The sad part is I need to keep looking at it because I know I have this here and I know I've been working on getting, or not working on, but I just ordered the Elugo Centauri carbon or whatever it is. And it's like, I keep Elugo, Anycubic, I don't know. Anyhow, very close. So the K1C is, what is this? 220 by 220 by 250. This is 250 by 250 by 250. Then we have the A1, the P1, and the X1. That's 256 by 256 by 256. The upcoming Elugo Centauri is 256 cube as well. So it's close. There's all kinds of content out about the Elugo right now, and I'm trying not to look at it because I want to come into it with fresh eyes. And if I really, really wanted to roll the dice built over bot, I go over to my neighbor, like that way, and see if he still has the ANET A8 that I gave him. And I'd take that back and bring it back in here. That would be rolling the dice, but I might have to up the insurance on the house before. Still waiting on yours to ship on your Anycubic. Yeah, because the Elugo ones you can pre-order now, and so here's the thing that I get what they're doing, right? They're trying to judge if there's enough of a market to make a launch worthwhile. I get that. Anycubic, Elugo, reality. Flash Force. You've got enough printers out there. You've got name brand recognition in the market. You send out machines to a lot of different content creators. Say, okay, go. We're announcing, release all your content. And so my YouTube feed is flooded with Elegoo Centauri feeds. Okay, great. Just announced the price. Awesome. We go to pre-order. Shipping's in July. Really? You've obviously got a batch. You've sent them out. Everybody's been playing with them for months, or at least a few weeks now. And you're opening up for pre-orders for a ship in July. And I think Prusa did this as well. I mean, so they were teasing the Core 1, but when they dropped Core 1, you could order it that day, and they were starting to ship, I think, within a week. But this thing of pre-ordering and shipping months later, it feels like Kickstarter, just with a little less gambling, if that makes sense, right? So that is starting to annoy me, because we had them where they were doing Kickstarters, and it's like, why are you doing a Kickstarter for a printer? You like Creality, like they did a Kickstarter on one of their printers. Like, why? You what's the purpose of it? And then we all fed into it, right? And now they're doing these like 3, 4, 5 month lead pre-orders. It's the same thing. The problem is, I bought this, I got first batch. So yes, I'm one of the few that have gotten in. I'm not I'm a content creator, but I'm not, like, I paid my own money for this. Just like I paid my own money for the Elegoo. If you get in on that early bird, first batch, whatever pricing, like I got into this sub 600. Everybody else right now, it's like what, 650 on the website, and they keep slowly starting to ratchet it up. And it's like, why are you ratcheting it up? You know, the Elegoo's out there pre-order $299. Is it going to stay $299, or are they going to ratchet it up here in a couple weeks, like everybody seems to be? I don't know. I don't know. That's the next, I'll say, kind of bait and switch that's getting me, right? But yeah, enough of a little tangent there. So I have been printing a little bit with this. So a couple of things that we've printed. We did print, and I'll come over to the side. You know, last stream on Tuesday, we printed the Bency. This was the, I think, 43-minute. I was looking, there's 3 different Bency files on here, at least. There's like a 50-something minute, a 40-something minute, and there's a 15-minute. Guess what we're going to do on stream today? We're going to try and rock one of those 15-minute Bencies and see what it does. Hey, Abados, how's it going? But for the most part, I mean, this is a great Bency. You've got a great first layer, fully calibrated, you know, self-calibrated, didn't do anything. Great first layer. We've got a little bit of stringing filament-wise, but I'm going to chalk that up to, this is brand new, out of the bag. Could it use a little bit of drying? I don't know. It is Polymaker. It is a matte. The front bow line, we have 0 issues with cooling on that front bow. Ever so slight, whatchamacallit, where it, instead of being completely round at the top, it does straighten out instead of being a fully arc on the door and the window. But respectable Bency, right? Um, when we left, I had started to do a vase because I wanted something bigger. Apparently, I still needed to make it bigger so that the color transition of this celestial gradient rainbow would be even better. And I do have something to show that out. We did this in vase mode, right? Vase mode with a 0.6 line width on a 0.4 nozzle. Works beautifully. And this vase came out beautifully. There's one issue, and it's right there. Now, I'm going to hold this in the print orientation, and you tell me if your printer would have an issue trying to print that line unsupported. I mean, that is basically a straight shelf with a one layer base mode, right? This is not an issue with the printer. This, I think, is any printer is going to have an issue trying to do a one line vase mode with a straight horizontal or pretty darn close to a straight horizontal shelf, right? Hey, zombie, welcome in. So what else did we print? Next, we printed what could potentially be an upgrade. You heard me complain about the fact that the single spool holder is right dead center in the middle of this printer on the back, right? And I was like, it would make sense if they had something to mount it on the side. Well, believe it or not, there's a couple people that have designed them. And this is printed on this edge, right? Got a little bit of texture there. This is a Polymaker PLA Pro or PLA Light Blue. This is to go around the connectors that connect the ACE to the machine, and then the 4-into-1 with the filament switch into the machine. Hey, zombie. Hey, reprinted. And you would use two 3mm hex nuts back here and mount the spool holder right here with this. Not sure if it'd be the same screws. You might have to use slightly longer screws. And this will be made to go right on the side. So you would actually take out two screws and then remount this. Now, with as thick as this is, we're going to have to obviously replace those two screws with another longer screw. The designer did not say what size screws those were. So what I'd have to do is take the screw out of the back, kind of measure how deep it is, and figure out, do some math and figure out the depth of the screw to use so that we don't dig it into something on the internals. But this was printed on this machine. Like I said, it was printed in this orientation. I do get a little bit of something right there. Once again, these are all default profiles. The edges of some of these are not as crisp as I would like. Letters came out nice and all that. So all in all, it's a good functional print, right? It's going to work. You're going to gamble on the Chute for, is it Chute? Chute? How do you pronounce that? I've seen those printers. I know a lot of people had them. A lot of people needed to update the SSR, the homebrew SSR for it, for the bed. Chute, okay. I may be interested in one, but I just need to review it and see if it really makes sense with everything else that I already have here at the Dragon Den, right? Like, I'm serious about, I'm going to have to get rid of printers to make room for new projects coming in. Yes, it is dead center in the middle of the back. If you give me a second, zombie, I will turn things off, unplug, and turn this around. The other thing is you can see, like, it's sitting on rubber legs. The only place you can somewhat maybe get a finger underneath it is at the back. You know, there's really no way to easily get fingers underneath this printer. So there is some files to make like little square blocks that it'll sit on, which will probably be like TPU blocks. I'm going to just take a second and turn this around. Oh, yeah. Take a second to turn this around, hopefully without giving myself a hernia. And I'm trying carefully not to rip some things off because, once again, there are decisions. So because this has individual buffers on the lane, each one of these can buffer out. So when it's loading, it pushes this buffer all the way out and then pulls it back in. So this is basically a turtleneck for each lane. Okay. You have your 4-into-1 right here. And this is a filament runout switch that's plugged in here. And then one PTFE tube that comes in. The PTFE tube does not ride inside the drag chain. It's got clips that hold it to the side of the drag chain. So the bends coming up and into the tool head aren't as bad. You pronounced it neat. There you go. Well, I'll tell you, the Auto Z offset is frustrating on the GD Plus 4, Max 4, or whatever. Yeah. 8+4 is a excellent printer. Okay. So yeah, here is your center spool holder, right? And let me go grab a spool. Any spool. Okay. We're gonna grab a spool of filament and flip it on here. Okay. Now, got wires here. You've got PTFE tubes because we're running an ACE on it. So, how much fun do you think you're going to have trying to reach around the back middle of a printer to get a spool of filament on there and not rip off a wire or snag a PTFE tube and rip it out? The only way you're having a decent chance is to come in through the left, right? This is a piss poor decision in my mind. The right-hand side here is full slick. There's nothing on this right-hand side. The left-hand side, for whatever reason, is where the USB stick is. So this is sticking directly out from the printer on the left front side. So knowing that here is where all your junctions are, what's the chance that you're going to hit this and snap that USB off at your printer? So that's an issue that I have. So and these are minor quirks, right? But as you get a collection of printers over here, you have to remember which side's the power switch on, which side's the spool holder on. Where does my USB stick go? Do I need to have the USB stick in it? You know, the K1C, the spool holder is about here, right? So it's not fully high or in the middle there, a little bit lower and off to the side. And there is a mount that you can mount it to the left side. And that file is on the disk. I had to go search for this, right? And the way, like I said, the way this works, we'll take this off, we'll mount it here with some M3 hex screws. They have to be hex screws. You can't use locking hex. They have to be standard. You're going to take these two screws here out, and it'll mount spacing wise, like right there, so that you can still get in and take your cables out if you need to. You would undo this tube and basically come in underneath, up, and into the tube. Okay, not bad, and it's sticking out on the same side as your USB drive is, so hopefully as you're coming over here to swap out filament, you don't knock your USB stick out and break it as well. The other thing this printer does is it poops. And I'm going to say it's not too much different than any other of the machines in the ecosystem. There's the A1s, P1s, X1s, Creality K2, what have you. If it does a filament change, it's pooping. AMS poops as well. It's probably the same amount of mass, but they're a lot more solid. A lot more solid, kind of small. I like that better than this. Just my opinion. Okay. And we've got a poop chute here, but there's nothing. Printers, if you're going to do things like this, put a file on here for a poop chute. So that might be one of the first things that people print is a poop chute for, right? Looking, there's several different poop chutes, but the question is, if you got to use this and you're keeping it on the back, you've got to have a poop chute that misses this spool, and this, it's still got to be able to rotate and go through. You've also got an exhaust fan here. So the one right here that's partially covered on this side is pulling air in. The one over here has a carbon filter in front of it and is pulling air out through the carbon filter. Right? Hey, Mr. Wizix. Got your new merch mug today, the 20 ounce. Nice. Turned out awesome. Great. Great. I am glad that turned out great for you. Okay, so did drop some. Not good. Okay, so I went and looked for some files. And it's really fun that I'm finding files for the Anycubic on Bamboo's website. Is it Maker World, right? I'm getting them confused because you've got Maker World and then Maker Online, right? So this piece was printed on the Bamboo because, well, that's where I had the file, so it was easier to dump it on there. It's got a provisioned cutout so that you're not blocking that fan and the air can get out. Got a spot down here where your tray, your removable side tray, is going to be at. But you'll notice there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws that you have to take out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws that you have to take out. I have no idea how long they are. We should be able to reuse the same screws. They did make a provision to be able to stick your screwdriver through to get that one in. The ramp is nicely sloped. I didn't put any supports right here and I thought it was going to print nicely, but there is a little bit. Not that it'll matter because it's in the back of the printer. I'm pretty sure that's steel. Let's see. I haven't found a single magnetic poop chute for this. Every single one I've seen has you taking out screws and putting in screws. So you're basically telling people to take screws out of their brand new printer. And I don't know if that technically voids your warranty, right? But you're going to take out your 6 screws, mount that right there, and calls for 6 by 2 millimeter circular magnets here and here, and that will be your wraparound tray on the side, which would be good. It'd be even better if this was, I don't know, maybe on the side that your filament and everything else is on, so that you're now not taking up room on both the left and the right hand side of your print. Just saying. This little piece, I believe this, I got this on Maker Online, which is Anycubic's site, which looks an awful lot like Maker World, which looks, you know, Creality's looks a lot like Bamboo's Maker or Maker on or Maker World, whatever. Yeah. I printed this out in ASA because this would be inside the chamber. Remember, we had a bag that came with this of activated carbon. Well, eventually we'll be able to put activated carbon in this, flip the lid in, slide it in, put the cover over it, and you'll be able to pop this out, dump the activated carbon out. When it's done, put the new one in. This would be a good little replacement. Interestingly enough, the file and the uploaded pre-sliced or 3MF file was for PLA Pro. Now, granted, the temp of the chamber should be under, you know, like 50 to 60 C if it's enclosed, but why would you print this in PLA? PETG, okay. I wouldn't print this in PLA if it's going on the inside. If it was on the outside, maybe not as big a concern, but it's going on the inside of the printer. So I don't know. Doesn't make sense. But this, once again, was printed on the Bamboo because I haven't chewed anything but PLA on this yet. Yeah. So here's the other quirk that I threw out there the other day, right? We've got our 6-pin cable to 4-pin cable here. I have no idea why this is a 6-pin connector instead of a 4-pin. There's only 4 pins in there, right? It's 6-pin on this side, 4-pin at the printer. So why did you use a 6 to 4? Why not just make 6 to 6? Future AMS can't be. There's no wires in it. There's 2 connectors have no pins in it. This cable would be useless. You would have to hack the end off this cable and re-terminate it. Right? And there's a 4-pin and a 6-pin. So here's my 6-pin with my 4 wires. If I added a second unit, remember, you can only add 2 units, which means a total of 8 colors, not the 16 that you can do with the the AMS or the CFS. The next daisy chain's a 4-pin. So you get another one of these units and go a 6-pin to a 4-pin connector. The only thing I can think of is rather than put something on here that says, you know, to printer and then from second, ACE, they just went with a 6 and a 4. The filament runout sensor is a 6-pin cable, and I can't pull it out and show you, but it's got 6 pins in it. So whatever's in here requires 6 pins. It's just, I don't understand this, but it does sort of dummy proof it, I guess. The other thing that's quirky and really annoys me, and the more I think about it, these cables are over here to keep the joining cable on the same side of the printer. So you're not running a cable over here around the spool holder and through this mess. But what that means that they've done is, here's our power. You're thinking, well, the power's here. Your main board is up on this top left side, or I guess that would be the right side because this is the lower right rear. The same place as the P1 and the X1, right? Now, down is off, up is on. I like that, right? Because if I'm reaching around trying to shut my printers off because I'm getting ready to leave and go on, I don't know, a trip to Colorado soon, I'm going to go around and I'm pushing everything down, right? I'm just pushing everything down, which is shutting everything off. There's a separate power plug up here. You have to power this unit separately because it's got the drying function in it. Okay? It's almost like they took this plug, rotated it up, because off is up and on is down here. So now I have to reach around to the back right and the top left, and I'm flipping switches in opposite directions. Don't like that. I really wish they would pop this out. Technically, it looks like I could probably open this up, pull it out, and this is a separate switch module, so I should be able to take and rotate that around. Kind of annoying that they're in different directions. Just put it in a power switch or power strip and shut the power strip off. Very true. You can do that. You can do that. Nice beard, thank you. I've been working on it a little bit. Mrs. Dragon doesn't like it, but most reliable way is to put purge to a box under a table and just let it drop. Yeah, that's true. You just order a resin printer from Maker Online using points. Very nice beard printer. Which one did you get? Nice quality of life improvement add-ons. Yep. Had extra 6-pin connectors. Could be, because they obviously had 6-pin connectors here. But I'm not sure if they're making these cables or having them fabricated. Correct. This is not a bamboo. This is the Anycubic Kobra S1 with the ACE unit. So here's the issue, Tech Deeper, with just putting them on a power strip, right? Power strip, one switch and done. Boom. Everything connected to the power switch is off. You come back in. What are you going to start doing? Turning all your power switches. Now you may have 6 printers trying to start up and pull current at the same time. If I'm a print farm and I'm running everything on 20 amp circuits and I've sized everything right, that's great. If I'm not, and I'm not thinking about it, and I fire up 2 or 3 surge strips full of printers at the same time, I'm probably going to be standing here in the dark and they're all going to be off again. So, yeah, I just know the limits. That's why I can't run all the printers in my office at the same time. That's why when I have the space created downstairs in the basement, or not in the basement, in the garage, where a lot of these will live eventually, I'm going to have them add some dedicated 20 amps. What are you trying to say, Barry Printer? You trying to say I need to lose weight? Hook it up to an exercise bike. Who am I going to get to sit on the exercise bike? This is the first time you've had the back of a printer that is not a Bamboo AMS and a printer that is not. Oh, gotcha. There you go. Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. Yeah, power switch should really be on the front, right? Plug it in. Give me a tactile button on the front. Like even the Bamboos, you got 2 buttons on the top right corner. Has anybody ever used those buttons? I haven't. I've never used them. I always reach around the back. I forget they're there because they're on the top and they're the same color as the printer. I just look right on past them. Now, if it was a lit switch or something like that, that would make a difference. If it was on the front panel, that would make a difference. Just doesn't make sense sometimes. Hey, Royal Nomi, how are you doing? The room has a 30 amp breaker. Sweet. Sweet. So anyhow, let me take a sip of coffee and we will flip this thing around. Oh, the other cute thing that I printed, and this is on the files as well. And of course it prints laying down, so the color shift is on the axis. But it's a little flexi dino. Little flexi dino. One of the files is on. He's cute. I'm really liking this gradient, the celestial gradient rainbow that Pezliz is here. I'm going to thank her, continue to thank her for giving me that. So I'm going to pull my USB stick out so I don't rip it off when I do this. And I'm going to turn this back around, unless you guys feel like while we're here, we should apply some of these quality of life improvement pieces. Actually, we'll do that. I'm going to use some of my own tools to fit. Oh my God. Just doesn't fit. Down, screw down. I think these are M3 by 6s, and there is little chance that that is going through here and into the plastics. We're going to have to swap these out with something else. Figures. Grab some 8s and 10s. I don't know which we'll need. Probably need something longer when we go to attach them over here. Need hex nuts. Grab some of those. But once again, what this is going to do is move our thing over here to the side of the printer so that we can have easier access to our spool holder. I'm going to try a 10 first because I can't judge how much plastic we've got to go through. Pin's not going to do it. So we'll put these two back and we'll grab some larger ones. Hey, Zombie, if you're still there and haven't started lurking yet, I'm going to need a place to ship that box turtle. Grab some 16s and maybe and 20s. I'm going to use a 20 to connect this in. 16, I think, 16 will get us here. Oh, all right. How about we do this? Let's just hold one of these in it. Or luck that. Goes there, that goes there. There we go. And 16 is going to be way too long now. Like I was saying, 12 millimeters should do the trick. Let me go grab those as well. I might as well just grab the whole stockpile of screws and bring them up at this point. And get one of these in, the other will be a lot easier. Basically, the end result is we don't need, or we don't want anything sticking out the backside of the printed part, because that's going to be right up against the side of the printer here, and we don't want it to be scratching the printer up. How you doing, Shrimp Father? Hope you're doing well today. Okay, so that's there. We'll need to take these two screws out, which look like they're... Yeah. This is where we'll get interesting. We're going to have to see how long these are and make a good guesstimate of how long to make the screws that go through here. And what you may have just heard, not sure if you heard it, and I'll see if I can't turn this around a bit. Is this panel right here just popped a little. Let me show you that. See how that just popped? That's oil canning. So what that tells me is rather than start in the center and work their way out, they hit the sides, and as they came down, they had these two screws in and we oil canned down here. That might be something that we can get taken out a bit just by loosening up some of the other screws and work our way around the corner here as we tighten things back down. Just means taking out more screws than we were planning on it, but why not? Not necessarily taking them out, but loosening them to relieve some of that pent up stress on the steel, because this is just a lightweight steel panel. Locating pins there. I think it'd be the switch. I don't know. It could just be that I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that oil can out now without probably taking the whole panel off, which I do not want to do. Okay, so we got the 2 screws off here. We're going to look for some longer screws that will go through our plate here. And give us about the same reveal. So these screws were flat. So what I'm going to do is basically stand it right next to the screw that I have there. And as long as the reveal is the same or less, which it's less, so M3 by 20s will work here. And put them in from the right side, it'll be even better. I'll have to line up at the top here. Okay, and that's pretty sturdy, and actually kind of, as I screwed these down, it kind of bowed it out, so there is a bit of a gap, so it's not sitting right up against the printer side, which is good. That way, as this thing moves, we should not be rubbing against the side facade of our printer and damaging it, which will be pretty darn nice. Now, the other thing that we're going to add on here, so that we can try and rip it off as we're turning it around, would be our poop chute that's going to go right here. So we're going to wind up taking out like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws in order to put our poop chute on. And the screw holes should be in such a way that we should be able to reuse these screws. And it looks like these two right here are coarser thread plastic screws versus the metal machine screws here. I'll have to keep that in mind. Oil canned a little bit. There's really thin steel back here. And Try and go in the reverse order. Oh, that's not wanting to go in. I should be plenty enough room. So maybe I'll start over in the corner. Try and push just a tad bit harder. That one in. This one in. There we go. Again, some quality of lifestyle upgrades here that'll be a little more useful once we move this over off the bench and get it over in its future home. Not lining up. Plastic screws are used. The plastic screws are coarser threads, so we definitely need to make sure that we're lined up so we're not basically rethreading it into the plastic. Hey, Musaka, thank you for the 3-month subscription. I appreciate it. Hope you're doing well tonight. Hey, Keela, how are you? We are installing some quality of life things on the Anycubic Kobra S1 here. This is a poop chute guide, basically, that'll guide it down and around to the left side of the printer. And it's designed in such a way that it does not impede this exhaust fan. So it leaves most of this exhaust fan uncovered. And we also, installed a side mount spool holder for if we ever have to run a separate spool like TPU, because TPU and any type of AMSE like respooling system does not work. So that one's in. Come back to our round me over bit. Get this last one. Now, had I put a little bit more forethought, I would have super glued the magnets in on that side before I actually just did what I did, but you know, that would have taken 30 seconds of forethought. Now I'll have to do that as it sits here on the bench. But for now, we're going to try and turn this back around now that we've got things hanging off both sides, and I'll see if I can't jab myself as I'm doing this. When you go to move this from like a bench or move it around more than just spinning it like this, probably going to be worthwhile to pop your PTFE tubes out, unplug your ACE, and get that off of the printer. Because like I said, it sits right down on the surface. There's maybe a 0.5 millimeter or millimeter of those rubber feet that are on there. So being able to grab it from the side and spin it around, I'm having to like lift it up here at the front by that door ledge in the back, which I really hesitate doing. Okay. Printer is rotated. I don't even know if that should work. Once again, we've got two different plugs. One for the printer and one for the ACE unit itself, because once again, the ACE has a dryer capability to it, which I have used. We'll go ahead and we'll put the 4 magnets in here, and luckily, you know, because if you've built printers, you probably have some 6x3s. They're pretty standard. This calls for 6x2s. That is a loose fit. So there's going to be glue involved. But there was something I was just thinking of. So here's something I want to look at. So there were files that are test print files that are on the printer in a folder. Then we've had the files that I have uploaded from the software. Okay. In the folder, they do have a ring to put on, well, it says the Anycubic paper. So for the Anycubic spools, you can print the little rings. Polymaker and all that, you can get the files and still print the rings. We have a PETG Bency at 53 minutes, a PLA Bency at 44, the Flexi Dinosaur, a Shark bottle opener, another Shark bottle opener. I don't know why there's 2 different ones. A Shark Flexi in PLA, a Spider in PLA, no thank you, a 15-minute Bency, which we will try here in a minute, a 36.5-minute Bency in ABS that we'd have to throw some ABS in here for, and then a 14-hour and 6-minute 4-color print. Let's let that sink in. 14 hours and 6 minutes for a little 4-color print that uses 65 grams. That's kind of insane. But because I promised you we are going to go and try this 14.5-minute Bency. What do you think? Should we use the... we'll use the blue. We're going to start printing. Filament broken, please load new filament. Filament broken? Did I break filament? One doesn't feel broken. Yep, that one doesn't feel broken. Okay. I don't know what filament you feel is broken. Didn't think the ACE was installed, and I think that might just be, there we go. I turned them on in sequence too quickly, so the printer wasn't fully aware when because I think the ACE came up before the printer. Okay. That's lovely. White. Broken, possibly. I think the white's broken in the tube, so that's fabulous. Here's Ben. I'll fix that later. Hey Tim, how's it going? Give me a second, and I will come up here and look at chat. Tim, welcome on in. Play keyless way. The lube for the rails on your boron build just came in today. Didn't look at the listing very well. I've got lube that'll last me 1,000 boron builds. Did you get one of these? Because they do kind of weep. That grease does kind of weep, so make sure you're putting it on paper towels or something, or if you're putting it into a grease gun, make sure that you just be careful. Musaka, thanks for the tier 1 gift sub, or for joining, subscribing for tier 1. Jeez. And Mr. Wizix, thanks for the 100 biddies. I do appreciate that. Liz, how's it going? Meet the Polymaker is with Zombie today. Oh, are they going to help with a push for Zombie? All right, so we've got the 15-minute Bency in here. We're going to say start printing. It's going to let us pick a color. I'm actually going to tell it to go in 2 because I want to do it in blue versus our pan chroma. And we'll get that started. While that's going, I'm going to try and put some magnets in. I'll probably do that just off screen. Oh. And while it's all heating up, this little cutie was printed out on this printer. Using our pan chroma, I did post this up on the socials. Came out very, very nice, which is to be expected. There is some print stuff down here. It is a little rough. It was just based on the selection of supports and not having sufficient supports there. There were some supports here, which I would have expected, and some right here in the middle. But all in all, it came out very nice. Very nice color. I do like that transition. So I'm going to be looking for some larger things like this to be able to print that I can give to family members or something, and use some of this gradient and rainbow colors, because this is really nice, Liz. So, and this is off of printables, so I need to take and post a make up on printables. I may try and see if I can't play around with some settings to get this a little bit nicer though, reprint it and post it up there, or at least take a glamour pic that doesn't show that lip as much. I think I will strategically place that around the house so my mom will come by and do a 5-finger discount on it, because I know she will. These are going to require some super glue, so I'm going to have to get my super glue going. Getting tired of having to open these up with a needle. I'm assuming that this is going to get semi-violent. Do these a couple at a time, because they're so loose that if I try and do all 4 at the same time, they'll pull each other out of the. But we are going to poop. And once again, the poops here for this printer are pretty I'll say consistent poopage. There's the poops from the printer so far. So pretty consistent with what we're used to seeing. I have not changed these at all. It is a double-sided flex plate, textured. So yeah, double-sided textured plate. Okay, we got something not happy. Okay. For some reason, that is, it was not pushing through the into the hub. Yeah, I hear you trying to force feed it. It's not liking it. So I'm going to shut that off. And we're going to have to try and figure out why this is not getting pushed through and see if we've got a filament break or potentially a lobbed tip or something. Yeah, I think it just has an unhappy tip. I did not see anything that was caught in the filament sensor itself. So we'll give that a cut and see if that'll load up. Seems happy. Minute Bency. Into, yes. Give you one more shot. If you want to be really painful, we'll switch colors. Yes, it is a double-sided flex plate. It does support PLA, ABS, PETG, ASA because it is a standard double-sided textured flex plate. Hey Kegel, how's it going? And the texturing isn't really that bad. It's not sure if you can get it here, but I mean, there's a slight texture to it. It looks like there's more texture than a satin sheet. Maybe slightly more than like the BQ or Panda Glacier plates. Definitely a little bit more than a satin, but not as robust. Zombies over on Meet the Polymaker. Pretty good. So Keela, how goes printing with the box turtle? Have you all had any issues with the box turtle? Zombie interview time if people open a new tab. All of the tabs. Yep, all of the tabs. You know, I can do that, Liz. What I'm going to do is make sure that that is muted. Bring up a standard chip switch. We'll go over to Polymaker. And I will leave that up in the background as we run our stream. That way there's yet another one there. Jeremy's been working with Thunder on getting it tuned. There you go. Yeah, I need to go through and do some of that tuning as well. I left that for Zombie because it has to be tuned on the printer. So the one I'm sending to Zombie, he's got to go through and do the CAN bus cable, get it connected to whichever printer he's going to use it on, and then do all the tuning stuff. Got your box turtle enclosure panels in today from KB3D. Nice. So have they started selling the enclosures yet, or are you getting them custom done up from the bomb, Mr. Wizix? Just 3? Like this is a low energy day for Pez Liz if she only has 3 tabs open. You did get the side panels for the dust eraser printed. Nice. Yeah, I need to go working on that as well. I wound up ordering from West 3D because I needed to get another Orbiter 2.5, and I was gonna order. I was looking it up at the restaurant when we were having breakfast Sunday morning, and damn it, what is going on? Yeah, I know. I hear you. I hear you. So there is something back with the filament hub that is causing an issue. So bear with me momentarily while I try and figure that out. There's something stuck in the hub. I don't know what. I don't know if one of these went too far. Not far enough. Nope, that's not all the way. Black one. That's not all the way. White. White's not all the way, so there should not be anything in the hub, but it does feel like it's hitting the hub and not going anywhere. So let me grab a piece of filament. That one should be long enough. See if I can't figure out what's going on with the hub. Love of all that is good in the world. And I have to remove the filament tubes from the back of the hub and try and see if I can't figure out. There may be a piece of filament. Yep, there was. There was a piece of filament busted in one of them. I tell you. We got that squared away now. Now I bet you this will work better if I don't get if I don't have filament stuck in the filament hub itself. We will get this going. I promise you, we will get this going. Hey, Chris, how's it going? Yeah, so Chris, I went to order a Orbiter 2.5 kit from you on Sunday and got distracted eating breakfast with Evil Diesel and Mrs. Dragon. Came home, was going to complete the order, and I was out of internet Sunday and Monday. So when I went to order Tuesday, you didn't have any of the 2.5 orbiters or the 2.0 to 2.5 upgrade kits. So I went ahead and ordered it from West 3D. I also got another Death Racer kit because Mrs. Dragon wants a Death Racer now as well. So yeah, I'm going to need to start printing Death Racer parts. Maybe this will come in handy for that. I'll have to get like 5 printers going to print all the parts. Hey, Waters, how's it going? Long time no see. You got some great news today about Evocate's new location. We should be fully moved in and open to the public by March 5th. That is awesome. The Anycubic itself has been printing great. You know, a standard Bency, like a 40-minute Bency, came out great. The words at the bottom if I can get it. Anyhow, it came out great. This vase printed beautifully, except for this area, but I think any printer is going to have an issue with that type of steep base mode, right? Because that's just about horizontal there. Flexi Dyno printed without a problem. And we did the kitty cat that I posted online. This came out real pretty. Very nice organic shape. Again, love the Panchroma gradient, the celestial gradient. Yeah, I've been liking it so far. Yeah, so I wanted to get another 2.5 because the IDEX kit for the rat rig came with a 2.5. So I wanted to get another one. So what I'll do when we start that Saturday, we're going to start tearing that down, is I will put the 2.5 in the kit in the tool 0, and when tool 1, when we go to start building that one, by then I should have the one from West 3D in. Yeah, we're going to have a lot of multicolor printers so that we can start getting on that, and the maker chips as well. I need to figure out if I'm going to try and redesign the maker chips, because once again, my logo isn't going to shrink down well to a maker chip size, and trying to do a maker chip with that's going to be like way more colors than just 4. And hey, Chris, I'm going to turn this just to the side just a little bit. I'm not sure if you see anything cool here or not. Maybe I just need to scoot it out here a little bit. But yeah, don't tip it over. He fits in nice, though you do have to take the feet off. So I had to take the feet off. She slides in there nice. I'm going to look at printing like I'll say a front stop, and then one that'll go on the back that we can just push up against the back and screw down. That way it can't shift. But she gets in there. She's tight. I just need to make sure that the door can open up. Oh yeah, that's perfect. So this, it's nice and flush with the front of the profile. And she does open all the way. So you can get in there. I haven't plugged her in yet. That'll be something I do soon. Oops. Hey, great job, Luke. Let's stop that again. Turn this off. Because what did Luke do? Luke forgot again to put the PTFE tube in place. So the printer was doing, well, the spooler was doing spoolie things. Really? You're off. Why are you? Stop being so stuck. There we go. Yeah, spooler was doing spoolie things, and I'm sitting over here not paying attention. So once again, 3,300 square feet. Yeah, I need to go check that out. I've been meaning to get there, but I came down with COVID, so I didn't want to go down because of that. But yeah, I've got to get down there. I wasn't there for the soft opening because I was still in the COVID window, but I need to talk with Beverly and come visit. Need to send me all the panels? Yes. That would be great, Chris. And are we somewhere? Yeah, we're good now. I'm past the filament runout sensor, so I can make sure to stick that tube back in the back. Once more. Once more. We're going to get there, I promise. So I still need to plug this in, and it says to let it run. I think it was like 12 hours. Let it get all the way down. Open the door, shut it, Like open the door for what, 30 seconds, shut it, and then check to see like how long it takes to drop down to under 5% again. And then that's kind of just setting your, not like calibrating it because I'm not changing anything at that point, but it's kind of making me aware of my environment, I believe is what it's doing. Now, Chris, your building, you said you're going to have the ability to expand within that building potentially. Yeah, this is the most complete black stack in the wild. And once again, Chris, I'm using 1/4" ACM for the top panel with the flathead like furniture screws just to bolt it down. And I don't have any side panels or any other panels on it yet. I do have, I was going to try and cut some uh, ABS panels, but if you've got panels for me, that would be perfect. I would love to get some panels. Hey, thanks for the follow, Woodshop IRL. How's it going? It's going good. Going good. So this is one of those issues. One of the reasons why I wanted to get the Anycubic and try it out is the ACE unit up here supports filament drying. So it's got a separate power plug to it. So you have one to the printer and one to the ACE unit itself. And you can print and dry filament at the same time. It's a good plus. I'm having some issues with some of this filament. It's old. It's been sitting out underneath the table here. And so I'm getting some filament breaks. I have dried this filament, but I've only run the dryer for like a couple of hours. I haven't like gone full tilt with it yet. Just trying to play with it. Like I said, brand new printer. Don't want to run a long print and have the dryer going and everything at night while I'm sleeping. Right? You currently sell the acrylic enclosure panels with full enclosure kits coming in Aprilish. Okay, yeah. So, oh, wait, that's for the box turtle. Okay. All right, give me a second to get caught up here. Oh, one more time. Everything's connected. Yes, yes. Print. Yes. Where? We're going to get this thing to print. Need to send all the panels. Yes, congrats. We recently made the move. Oh, and Woodshop Phil, I didn't realize you just raided with a party of 6. Welcome on in. Welcome on in. For those of you that just joined with Woodshop Phil, my name is Digital Dragon, otherwise known as Luke. I'm a 3D printing variety streamer here on Twitch, which means we do all kinds of stuff. We do various unboxings like our X1 Carbons over here, the Anycubic with the Ace. Hiding right behind it right here is a Creality K1C. And we do full up printer builds like the Vorons over here, the Black Box 5-head tool changer. We've got a rat rig over here. And I do a lot of prototyping as well. So I'm wearing a box turtle shirt. I built about 6 of these. Most of them were done under the beta test program. I beta tested the trad rack, the box turtles, various products from Fetus, you name it. I try and get involved in it if I can. Hey, Big Jano, welcome on in. And I kind of get a little chaotic sometimes on my streams. Normally my Saturday streams, I've been known to sit here and go 8-9 hours building things. We'll see how far we get this Saturday, because what we're going to be doing is working on turning our rat rig, which is right over here. This is a rat rig VCore 4 hybrid, single tool head hybrid motors. We're going to be converting this to the full IDEX kit this weekend. So lots of fun stuff that we do here. The black box was actually the beta kit, right? I was the first beta tester of the kit, which was a full build kit. And yeah, I actually built the entire wire harness for this by hand. So fun times. Welcome on in, Big Jano. How are you doing today? You're still working 2 jobs and getting a little burnt out. Oh yeah, I can imagine that. I can imagine that. Wish you could stay longer, but back to the jungle I got. Okay. Thanks, Chris, for being here. And hey, Chris, like I said, reach out to me and let me know if you can send me a set of panels for Blackstack. That would be great. Definitely would like to slap those on. Hey, Mod Light, how's it going? So the Anycubic so far is printing well. We had it powered down, was shoving it around and looking at it. We've added a Poop Chute setup to the left side. The right side, we added a spool holder so that we can mount a spool, like if we want to do some TPU or some carbon fiber stuff. We can run it on the side because the spool holder for this printer is provisioned dead center in the back of the printer. Hey, Nathan Builds Things, welcome on in. So this is a good quality of life mod. We would normally have a USB stick over here. I took it off when I was moving the printer around so I didn't rip it out. We've got a Poop Chute that's starting to hang off the side here. And where most of the Poop Chutes that you'll see for like a P1S or P1P or anything like that are magnetic, this is all screws. So we had to take screws out of the back, like 6 of them, and then slap this on there and put it back, which is great because thin steel sheet metal, it oil cans pretty well. And I'm kind of waiting for the super glue to set on the little tray itself that'll hang on the side there. And awesome. One of them just broke free. 2 of them broke free. Great. So the magnets, I'm having to hold the magnets in with super glue because the holes are too big. I don't know if I maybe needed to do this with ABS and let it shrink, but the files were for PLA, so I don't necessarily get it. But I'm trying to slather these in here with some super glue and get them to stick. Stay in place. And they're just kind of fighting me. Dang it. Part of the reason is they're so close and there's such a loose fit that they pop out real easily. And then the other side is I'm using what is this, gap filling medium? Yeah. 5 to 10 seconds. Nope. Because that's been sitting there for several minutes and it just popped out like I hadn't used any glue on it whatsoever. So I may have to wind up using some epoxy on it or something. Yeah, I've got some 5-minute epoxy, but really don't want to do that if I don't have to. So the X1Cs right now By the way, there's a poop. It's a little bit more exaggerated because we've had so many problems with it. But here would be a standard poop for the printer. They're pretty common to what we're used to seeing. And the file that we're just now finally starting to print is the 15-minute Bency. So this is the go fast or go home Bency. And waters, the files that I'm using, these are they're made for strip magnets. I'm just having them sit behind the printer, but these are deep well ones, which let me print quite a while without having to reach around and change them out. For the longest time, quite honestly, I was using some little like flip up boxes from the KB3D or from the black box build. Let me sneak back here. Pick up these panels so I can move this back out of the middle of the way. Slide this back over here. So yeah, just basically like a big plastic bin, because otherwise I would have to, well, my benches are right up against the wall. So I can't drop anything down the back of them. So, oh, you can use an activator with the PLA. It won't melt it. The activator that comes with, like the Bob Smith Industries activator, all it is, or primarily what it is alcohol. It's not gonna impact the PLA. I just don't want to use activator because if you use the activator on the PLA, well, not just on the PLA, but if you use activator, it creates a weaker bond. It's a faster bond, but it's a weaker bond, right? That's why, yeah, you can use 5-minute epoxy, but a 5-minute epoxy bond, is weaker than a 30-minute bond, which is weaker than a 5-hour bond, which is weaker than a 24-hour bond. So depending on what you're trying to use, you want to use the right epoxy for the right solution. Holding magnets in, 5 minutes is fine. Trying to do that on, fiberglass for an aircraft wing, yeah, no, you want the longer curing epoxy. Primarily because you want the longer working time, but also it's going to give you a stronger bond overall. You want to say frustrated or done and move on? No, I get that. Let's see what you were looking at. Once again, this is their, like, what was this, 15-minute Bency, 14.5 minute? Ah, yes, I've seen that little conveyor belt thing. The only thing that I worry about in that setup is what if it falls off the conveyor belt to the back? Like, you'd really need something that would help keep it on the conveyor belt. What, me get frustrated? I don't get frustrated. Can't see me wink because I took the other camera off. My frustration is that we were in the 60s and then it snowed. And I'm mad because I was hoping it was going to warm up enough because I need it in the low 70s to go and spray paint some things, and I've got projects I need to go and prime and do some painting on. Well, and really the little yeah, and I've decided not to go into the office the last 2 days, and I got the nastygram saying, you need to bring your old laptop in because I had a laptop refresh, and I've now got like a souped up M4 Max, and I need to take my old Intel-based MacBook back into the office before they turn around and charge my department for it. Which I also love when they were like, "Oh, you've got a 2019 MacBook. We now have this program. If you want to keep it, you can keep it for $3,000." And I'm like, I can buy a brand new M4 MacBook for $3,000. Why the hell am I going to pay to keep a 2019 MacBook? Okay, so the good thing is I'm seeing both. Yes, it's going fast. And I think, once again, this is their slice version, and I can guarantee you that this slice version does not meet speed Bency rules. Just in the wall thickness that I'm seeing for the outer walls and the amount of sparse infill, I'm pretty sure that it is not there. And I didn't even think. I wish I could make this really full screen. Oh, my camera's not going to come on. Really? Give me the camera. We're going to play this again, aren't we? For whatever reason yesterday, it took me coming into the printer on the app and turning the camera on the app for it to pop up in this interface. I have to shut it off and open it back up again. Turn it down here. Let's see if going back into it will let me get the camera back up. There we go. So now you can see what the camera view is like in the app. Of course, you've got a phone app and you've got their version of Orca. Now the camera in here is only 480p. So it's not super fast, like you're not getting 30 frames. It's there really for spaghetti detection. I just kind of wanted to show that to you, and I'll also bring this one in a little bit closer. See if we can't see both getting printed. Yeah, which convention's coming up in March, Waters? Yeah, we actually had snow yesterday and today. So here it is. you know, towards the almost the end of February, and we're getting snow down here in North Carolina. Which, let me explain. I would much rather it snow if it's going to be this cold. When it's cold and there's no snow, it just really sucks. It's a mini con at NC State. Okay. Yeah, I've been working from home because I wasn't going to drive in. Um, I mean, I have a pickup, but it's a rear-wheel drive pickup, and I know how to drive in snow because I don't know. I was stationed in Alaska, in Germany, in Ohio. I know how to drive in this crap in Colorado. My fear is the people that don't know how to drive in the weather. Right? That's the part that scares me. So here, we'll go back to the big view. I just wanted to show you what the web interface looked like. There's ways to drive on ice without chains. You can get studded tires, which also are illegal in the state of North Carolina. I don't know, maybe up in the mountains you can do it. Oh, trust me, I had studded snow tires on my car, and I drove. So I'm Florida born. Never saw snow until going through Tucumcari, New Mexico on my way up to Oregon to put my vehicle on a boat and fly up the rest of the way to Alaska. 3 years later, I left Elmendorf Air Force Base in Anchorage, Alaska, and I drove north to Whitehorse, Alaska, which is where you cross over into Canada, and drove the Alcan Highway down in March in a Honda Civic DX two-door hatchback. And there were times when I was snow plowing in a Honda Civic. And I was driving with studded snow tires, and I got down to California, which, of course, how I got down there and did not get a ticket for driving down with studded snow tires, don't ask me. But yeah, that was painful. Hey, you get down to California, now go buy all new tires because the only tires I had available were the ones on the car, which were studded snow. To just get to California, I have to go spend like $400 for new tires. So yeah. And yes, by the way, I'm gonna pull this back up to the main view here. We do have new merch. Bang Merch will get you the link for the merch store, which is over on Fourth Wall. I don't have one of my coffee cups because they're dirty, but I do have one of the water bottles here. So this is dark mode. We have light and dark mode, both in coffee cups and water bottles. I haven't checked on my shirts lately, but the last time I did check, they were supposed to be here Saturday. So maybe during the stream, they'll either show up on Friday or they'll show up during the stream, and Mrs. Dragon can bring them up and I can show off the shirts. Almost done. And we're done. So, yeah, about 14 minutes. So this is a homing sequence here. When it goes over there, it's doing a cutting sequence. And it comes back over to the poop chute. And what I'm going to do is let this cool for a little bit. I'll pop this off the plate and we'll look at the difference between a 14.5-minute Bency and the 44-minute PLA Bency. Yes, Mod Light, please do. Sorry about the cough there. I was impatient. Let that do its thing. Dang. Okay. So bottom, PT3D XYZ, yep. Probably still see the shadow of a hole line there. It's gonna be harder material to get a good view on. No cooling issue with the front bow. I will normally see some right about in here where it'll start getting a little rough in the front bow, but that is good. Little bit of strain, but we were going a lot faster. Still getting a little bit of a straight overhang on the curved portals. But once again, this is a 15-minute Bency. And a little bit of ghosting right there. See that? So that would be some that would be our resonance compensation. A little bit of ringing, and that front corner looks surprisingly well because this front corner here was the one that we had the issue on in the slower Bency. Right, you can see there's a little bulge or an issue just in the top after we get above the window. Gone in the other one. But all in all, I mean, these things are pretty darn solid. Pretty darn solid. Pretty nice. Good layer lines. I can see the layer lines on the blue a lot better with my naked eye just looking at them. And very good, consistent layer lines being dropped down there. Will probably work better with one of the, once I get the other Osbot camera in, which may be here this weekend as well. I'm going to take this, put an Osbot here and take this one and put it up at the top. But yeah, I mean, I expected for one of these at 15 minutes that the stack would be a little messed up as well, but that stack is good. I think it spent a lot of its speed down at the bottom and then started slowing down a little bit to enable cooling for the top. But if I handed these two files to you and said which one was the faster one, first glance you might not say anything, but look at the top of this. Now look at the top of this. Little bit more inconsistent here, and I can't get the right angle, but you see if I can do it down here. Darn shadows. This deck the front deck. You can see the waviness and the inconsistency, where this one appears a lot more consistent and solid on the foredeck. So I will say that, yeah, looking at the overall the layers at the top of this, these look a lot more, I don't want to say necessarily inconsistent, but I'm seeing the layer lines a lot more than I do down here. It might be just the filament. I don't know. I can try running the speed Bency in this again. Might do that to see if we get this weirdness here. I mean, why not? It's a quick enough print. Speed Bency, go to filament 1, which is not blue. We'll redo that and we'll try it with this more matte filament and see what it looks like. But yeah, how's the zombie interview going? Is anybody checking that out? I just see Nicor, so I don't see zombie. Looks like they might be done with the zombie conversation. Whoops. So polycarbonate door, polycarbonate top panel. While this is starting to heat up, one of the other things that I was looking at is this is the filter piece. You know, there are several different types of poop chutes, waste baskets, things in here. I was also looking at these. So this is a spacer that will lift this up because right now it's sitting on this polycarbonate lid. Okay, got small rubber feet sitting on this polycarbonate lid. And if I needed to lift this up to let air out, I can't because all the weight of this is on. What this does is it gives you a 25 millimeter gap. So you'll be able to open your top up and slide it back to let some more air out. And at first you might be like, well, how is, that's just sitting on this curved edge. Well, there's 4 screws that will screw into the bottom. So the legs are going to be attached to the ace. And then that provides the ability to keep it from doing this as you sit it on the curved edge. So this is one option that just provides that little rise so you can open up the lid and slide the lid out of the way if you need to get in and mess with your tool head without having to take this completely off and deal with all of that. There's another one that I found over on, this is Maker Online, over on Maker World, which is the bamboo site, which is the one that raises it up and has like little drawers and spots for bed sheets. It looks like it's an X1C design that's been modified for this. That might be worthwhile. Yeah, they're going to do the filament giveaway. Yeah, Poop Chute makes you laugh. Yeah. Yep. Well, and the nice thing is if you're going to do that, you can leave the door shut so it's not hanging out there waiting for you to knock it off. Slide the top cover up and back or out, and now you can let it vent up without and quite honestly, with the always on vent fan back here. I don't know if we need to leave it open for PLA or not. I haven't read anything about whether it needs to be or not. But yes, getting this up off this polycarbonate, because if we start printing hot material and having all that heat coming up, plus if we're drying material while we're printing, that will add more heat down in this area on top of this polycarbonate, and I can just see it over time with weight on it starting to sag. So I will probably print these, and I will print these on this machine here. Once again, it kills me because it says filaments, and I can almost guarantee you that the profiles that are on here, if I go to download this, are for PLA. Let me see, does it say the filament? 0.4 nozzle. No, I'd have to download it and open it up in the slicer. Use complete verification. Um, oh, I can't tell what material. Just slice it, see what it comes. So the 3MF file shows 3 PLAs and a PET-G. I'm hoping that they printed this out and or did the G-code file in at least PET-G, but I can't tell. Days. I still can't tell what the what material they're using. Really should say, but it's 2 days to do both of them. Partly because they've got supports turned on, so they're trying to do. Okay, there is no need to do supports for screw holes. That's what you have drills for. A lot of material support. 8 hours to print the supports, and what we got? Filament used 18. Filament purge total is 55 grams just for used filament. Oh, 18 meters, 55 grams just for supports. So if we come over here, they're doing a 0.15 layer height. Why would you do a 0.15 layer height on that? That makes no sense. 3 walls. If you're looking for strength, I would increase the number of walls. Okay, 20% gyroid. This is showing 2 days, 15 hours, 30 something minutes. I change from gyroid to cubic, reslice. All I did was change the type of infill. 2 days, 16 hours, 6 minutes. Okay, so normally I see a lot bigger jump than that. I think the bigger issue is tur- turn off that. If anything, for a structural part like that, you want it to have larger or thicker layers. I would go with 4 walls because it's supporting 4 kilos of filament. Like I said, I always want to go with cubic. I like cubic better than whatchamacallit. For the biggest reason is it doesn't cause your machine to shake so much. You're doing a wave versus just doing straight angles, right? When you're doing this wave, you're inducing a sine wave on your printer. We get rid of supports because they're not needed for bolt holes. They sag a bit. Once again, drill cleans them out real easy. 2 days, 6 hours, 22 minutes. So we dropped 10 hours in time. God, that still seems like a long time. How tall are these? 250 millimeters tall. I mean, that's maxing it. I mean, that'll definitely be something we'll do. I don't know if I want to do it in PET G. I do have PET G that I can do it in, or if I want to do it in ABS. What would you guys think? PET G or ABS? And has anybody done a any type of riser for any of your printers? And if you did, what did you do it in? You do it in PET G? Well, I've got tons of ABS. I do have some PET G. Not a lot of PET G. I've got some recycled PET G. I can do that too. I can do. Got black PET G. I can do. I've got red. I've got some IC3D red recycled. That's like a translucent though. I've got some PET G carbon fiber. I've got a bunch of recycled PET G from Greengate. So I have to ask Mrs. Dragon's permission to use that because she's the one that directed me to buy it all. So I have to get her permission to use any of the Greengate PET G. Yeah, I've got some PET GCF from Atomic. Or filament gray ASA. That might actually. Yeah, that's way too light. If I had a dark gray, that would be good. That's kind of like a space gray. Carbon fiber black PLA. And then of course I've got black PET G from Polymaker. So you did a riser for the Ender 5 S1 black Polymaker ASA. Okay. Yeah. So we've got filament back here on the shelf, like 3 of those shelves. I've got filament underneath this table. You're going to see the fiasco that is we'll call it the parts bin, but this rack over here is filled with all ASA that's already opened. The closet in there is side to side. The top is primarily all PLA, so stacked 3 high. The middle shelf right here is PET Gs, and then the lower shelf is primarily ASAs, ABS, that type of stuff, some polycarbonate. So yeah, and that's not counting the case of EPACs and case of Elegoo that's downstairs. So yeah, I have just a bit of filament. ASA then? Okay, I can do that. I really wish I had like a good dark gray, but not like a sparkle gray, but just a good dark gray. PCABS, blue, black, orange. There's a combination. ASA. Ooh, we can use some Atomic dark cherry red ABS. I've been looking for a reason to use. Now, I think there's going to be a project for that, though. That might wind up on a Death Racer or something. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I'll pick a color. Eventually, I'll just say the heck with it and grab a random color and go. Go with the ASA you got open. How much do I need? I need about a third of a spool. Oh, I've got some. This is black polylite ASA. Got Galaxy Black. I've got Galaxy Red ASA. At 12%, so that would be good. What is this? Ooh. Wiener chicken dinner. There's 2 options right there. We've got a Ambrosia Sparkle ASA. This is their Galactic Gray. So it's got some sparkle fleck in it. And then we've also got 3DO Carbon Gray. There should be enough in there. 370. That should be enough. I'm just trying to figure out, like, neither one of these is going to match the printer well enough, but probably use a 3DO, get this dried up and use this. This will probably be something I'll run from the side spool. Yeah, it's a darker gray, so I'll use the 3DO at the bottom here. See, that's all I need to do is come over here and look. All we needed to do was look. Got some Polymaker Galaxy Dark Gray, but there's definitely not enough there to do that. Yep, the 3DO it is. I gotta say, it's looking like boat. Definitely looking like a boat. Almost pull a trigger on 3 Ender 3. Are you just getting 3 used Ender 3s to try and put one good one together? Love some Polymaker Galaxy Dark Gray. Yeah, yeah. It does come out nice. I think that's the one I used on the. Yeah, I used the Polymaker Galaxy Dark Gray and the blue on the 0G Mercury 1 full frame build. Zombie did us proud? Good. I am glad that Zombie did us proud. We're going to, let me see. And we're going to synchronize the Ace Pro, which can you sync? Should show up everything is PLA. Yep, good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unload the white and I'll put in the 3DO, but I'm going to have to take this downstairs and I'll go downstairs and cook this overnight in the poly dryer. And then I will get this started tomorrow, let this print all day tomorrow. Once again, going through the Ace, I'll run it through here. It's fine. It's only PTFE tube, right? We got plenty of it. So we'll run it through the Ace on the right side here. I guess I could just run it direct. Oh, this is called carbon gray. I don't know if it actually has carbon fiber in it or if it's just like a rough textured ASA. I don't know. We'll run it through, see if we can. We're going to see how sturdy the Ace unit. So we're done here. I want that. I want to retract it. You shouldn't need to preheat anything to retract filament out. Go ahead and snap that off. So now what we're going to do is 44-minute Bency, 15-minute Bency. Thinking that are close enough. Front bow, front bow. So good cooling down here. Down here, looks like we're a little bit rougher coming into that bow than before. Don't know if I can get these tops to show, but the top layer of those boat houses, front deck and the back deck, I just think this one here, the slower one, came out better and more consistent. This one, just the layer lines look weird, and I'm seeing how it pulls away from the edge. So this is going way too fast for the pressure advance setting. And that's why I think we're starting to see some of this. As you can see where it's gapping. So this would be pressure advance issues from where it's going too fast. I mean, it's a boat. It looks like a boat. It's still really good quality for as fast as it goes, but something that's getting these gaps right here and this rough top layer, this would not be something that I would print and send to anybody. That's why you go slower. Speed is not the end all. Speed is not the end all. I'm also seeing some issues right up here at the smokestack on this one. If I can get it to focus. See the smokestack issue there? Focus. Wants to focus. Anyhow, there's issues on the smokestack. Yeah. Okay, so it can go fast, it can make a boat. And it's a boat. It's not a boat-like object. So and some of that gapping and the issue with the seam line, I'm not seeing that on the blue. Like I said, the texture of the top layers of the blue is a lot rougher, but I think the blue was a little more tolerant of the heat and speed than the tan chroma was. All this stuff I 3D print, I never print the boat bench. Yeah, I understand that. I mean, I'm not a big Bency guy. I don't print a lot of the Benchies. It's just always one of the files pretty much that's on the printer. And I can tell you, I am not going to do their color print, which is 14 hours, almost 15, well, yeah, 14 hours for a fidget toy, a multicolor fidget toy. No. I will set up some coins and maybe print some coins, but I'm not going to do that. Right? Hey, Petty Ruxpin, welcome in. One of them going to a makerspace, that would be great. You're a practical printing? Gotcha. Yeah. So far, everything I've thrown at is printed decently. Once again, I am not going to hold this to it. The rest of this is really good. This is a base mode print at 0.6 millimeter wall thickness on a 0.4 nozzle. But once again, set this flat. That is a pretty, like, that's almost a horizontal flat surface doing a single layer print. So I'm not sure if that would work on a Bamboo Lab printer either. Right. So, getting those gaps right there. But everything else on this turned out wonderful. I think that's just a way too steep to ask any printer to try and do. But I don't know. Did the mic die? No. It might just be you, Waters. But that's primarily all I have tonight, folks. I'm going to dry that ASA, get it thrown up in here, and get this file sliced for it so that I can print these files so that we can lift the ACE up. And Saturday stream, this will be off the bench. And somehow I'm going to have my cameras sitting about like right here, shooting at the rat rig so that we can start doing the teardown of the rat rig, which means I need to move a few things out of the way so I don't kill myself doing that. I mean, technically this doesn't have to move off the bench. I can just move it forward so that we can move the tripod over here and route the cable around. But we're going to be doing everything over here at the rat rig, working on, tearing the tool head apart. We have to redo the belts because instead of using both the A and B belts for the tool head, we're going to use one belt for the left tool head and the other belt for the right tool head. I think that's how it goes. I think. I'll have to double check. Maybe it is using both belt. No? Yeah, I think we're using one motor. So we're using one of the belts for each one of the X-axis tool heads, which is one of the reasons why people are saying they're getting bad input shaper when you go from hybrid, which is very rigid, up to the IDEX, is because rather than having two motors working to move that tool head around, you've only got the torque of one motor moving it in X and two motors moving the Y gantry. And so there's the potential to induce some more resonances. Once again, I'm not trying to print at 1,000 millimeters a second and 20 plus acceleration. So the VCore 4 on the hybrid was the best input shaper I have gotten on any printer in my life. But I don't run it at those accelerations maxed out either. Because once again, those speeds cause additional wear and tear. Things will get hotter. Things will wear out. You're moving those bearings a lot faster. So it's not good. Pull it down. You need to print faster, get more printers. But yeah, refresh, fix it. All right, good, Waters. Birthday week from this Sunday. Well, happy early birthday. Happy early birthday. Yeah, if you want to print faster, get more printers. And especially get printers like I've got two X1Cs. I can download a file from here, put it up over here, and run it. Same thing on Vorons. I can take a file that was sliced for a 2.4 and run it on a Trident. And if it was sliced for a 300 size, I can still take that and throw it on a 350 size, and it still prints. It's like magic. So yeah, they don't even have to, like, I can slice for the Trident or the 2.4 and just put the file on either one of them, and it's still going to print. Why? Because it's got a print start macro. Rather than putting the entire start print macro and running all the macros in the slicer, my slicer is run print start macro. Here's the bed temp. Here's the nozzle temp. So it's just passing bed temp and nozzle temp to this and telling it to run a macro, which the macros are different between these two, but they don't care. They're just like, oh, here's my bed temp. Here's my nozzle temp. One runs as QGL, one runs a Z tilt adjust. Right? So yeah, that's the easiest way to do it, is just set up and get printers that you can share files across, so you don't have to re-slice them for everything as well, right? So probably what's going to happen is I need to print parts for two Death Racers now, Mrs. Dragon and the one we're building for KB3D. I'm going to set those files up for both of these X1Cs, and I'm just going to start ripping through prints. Now, there are some things that are going to go on the black box. Don't want to get into what those are going to be. But we're going to do some stuff over on the black box as well. We'll probably do some stuff on turtle boxes as well. You know, so we're going to have fun. We're going to use various machines in here. I also have to do a drag racer. Need to figure out all the parts and order those as well. Yeah, fun times. Yeah, uniformity and distributed loads. That's why you see people that have either a butt ton of P1Ss or X1Cs and a butt ton of A1s or A1 minis when they're doing print gardens or print farms. Uniformity. I can take hey, this printer's down for maintenance. That's great. I can load the same file right here and start printing again. You know? So, yeah. But, okay, gang, that's it for me tonight. Like I said, I'm going to try this overnight. I will start printing this long, drawn-out file that feels like it's longer than it needs to be. What was that again? 2 days? No. 23 hours. That's good. 1 day. So I can try and print that all tomorrow. And that way Saturday we won't have a printer running. We'll be able to run long day tearing through the rat rig. So let me see who's up and running. I should just ask Pez Liz. She'll tell me who's up and running. Jano should be up and running, right? Because it's Thursday night, which is marble night. Why is Jano not up and running? No, it's not too early for Jano. Was he not streaming tonight? Cyber Jewels, Pick Stitch, no Jano tonight. There we go. Static Tides. Static Tides, I've got. He's doing some cosplay stuff. Pick Stitch, I believe I'm following as well. What is Pick Stitch? Pick Stitch is March 10th day crochet prep for Starlight US. Okay. And I don't know. Yeah, I know how to work trip. Okay, there we go. I don't know Cyber Jewel. What's the Cyber Jewel? What are they doing? Oh, modeling in Blender. Okay. So real quick, do we want to do like hands-on crafty stuff, or do we want to look at some Blender modeling? Give you guys just a couple of seconds to decide. And I don't want to start a poll. I'm too lazy to do that. Blinder or Blender? Blender? Okay, we'll jump over to Cyber Jewels. Somebody new, never been there myself, so let's go ahead and get a raid going over there. Broaden our horizons a little bit. Learn something about somebody else, another maker and everything. Thank you everybody for being here and hanging out with me again tonight. There will probably be more content on this down the road. She's not going to go anywhere. We're going to keep it around, try it out, run it through its paces, do some ABS now that we've done some PLA and things, and see if it's going to stick around in the shop longer. And like I say, please come back Saturday. We may do a long stream on Saturday, start tearing into the rat rig, and at the very least get the tool head torn apart and get it back up and installed and ready to go into the second tool head. At the very least is how far I want to get. Thank you all for being here. You guys have a great night, and I will see you guys Saturday morning and around the interwebs. Bye now, everybody. And for those of you that are watching this content over on YouTube, thank you for also following me here. Please be sure to like and subscribe down at the bottom and click on that bell to continue to see new content as it becomes available. And over here, YouTube will be suggesting, based on the algorithm, another video for you to like. So thank you very much for being here. See you next time.